Now, that is what I call racing. We need more of that. Please give us more of that. Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR Cup Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button for me and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On this NASCAR Cup Series Rewind show, it's Bristol, baby! It's the Supermarket Heroes 500 presented by Food City from the Bristol Motor Speedway, the half-mile oval in Bristol, Tennessee. 500 laps, 266.5 miles around that half-mile bull ring, the concrete jungle, whatever you want to call it, there in the heart of Appalachia in eastern Tennessee. This was a crazy race. This was a fantastic race. Everything we could have wished for in this race. Well, everything that a lot of us could have wished for. If you're a Chase Elliott fan or even a Joey Logano fan, that ending probably didn't satisfy you very much. But if you're just a fan of racing in general, that was exactly what we hoped it would be. 17 caution flags in this race for a total of 102 laps. We ran a fifth of this race under yellow. First one came at lap number 8 as Ryan Newman spun on the backstretch. First competition caution came at lap number 20. Second competition caution was at lap number 60, and then stage 1 concluded at lap 125 with Chase Elliott taking the stage 1 victory. He was very fast today, looked to be well on his way to his second win in a row after winning Wednesday night in Charlotte. Lap 200, Ryan Blaney and Ty Dillon got together in turn 2. Blaney had actually spun off of turn 2 and really had done a great job at avoiding really tearing up the car, and he was just kind of sitting crossways across the track in the backstretch. And Ty Dillon, trying to avoid him, apparently misjudged the angle at which he was trying to avoid Blaney and ends up ripping both of their noses off as he tries to get by Blaney. So, what could have been a very big near miss for Blaney ends up being the end of his day. Lap 213, the 51 of Joey Gase wrecks on the backstretch. Lap 218, the 53 of Bailey Curry stalled on the track. 2 cautions in a row from Rick Ware Racing Cars. Lap 231, multi-car incident on the backstretch that resulted in a 12-minute red flag involving the cars of Daniel Hemrick, Alex Bowman, Cole Custer, Ricky Stenhouse, Kurt Busch, Jimmie Johnson, Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell, and Matt DiBenedetto. It started with Ricky Stenhouse coming up off of turn 2, clearing Jimmie Johnson, and then Johnson looking for some room to get around him and ends up turning Stenhouse. I don't know if you can necessarily blame anything on anybody there. If anything, it almost looked more to be the fault of Jimmie Johnson. And I know people try to jump on Ricky Stenhouse a lot and blame a lot of things on Ricky Stenhouse, and sometimes maybe rightfully so. But in this instance, I don't think Stenhouse really had much to blame for this one. If there was any blame you can lay on him at all for this incident, for at least this time, I think we can safely say Ricky Stenhouse was not the cause of this incident. Lap 240, Ryan Preece wrecks in 3 and 4. Stage 2 concluded at lap 250. Chase Elliott also took the Stage 2 victory. Very, very fast, and looking to put that 9 car in victory lane 2 times in a row. Lap 270, Chris Buescher wrecks in turn 2. Lap 330, Austin Dillon wrecks in turn 2. Turn 2 was Calamity Corner today. Lap 356, second incident of the day for Ryan Newman as he spins in turn 4. Lap 434, Kevin Harvick and Eric Jones get together in turn 1. Lap 459, the 27 of Gray Galding wrecked in turn 2. Lap 466, another multi-car incident in turn 2. This one involved Eric Almirola, Martin Truex, Michael McDowell, Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Newman, and Eric Jones. Final caution of the day came at lap number 490 as Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and B.J. McLeod got together in turn number 4. There was one final incident on the day that did not cause a caution that we will talk about in a moment. But first, let's get through your leaders for the day. 21 lead changes among 7 drivers. Leading the most laps on the day would be Denny Hamlin. He led 131 laps. You thought I was going to say Chase Elliott there, didn't you? He won both stages, so you would hypothetically think he might have led the most laps in this race. He did not. That would go to Denny Hamlin today. 115 laps were led by Brad Keselowski. 100 laps went to Kyle Busch. 88 laps were led by Chase Elliott. 60 laps went to Ryan Blaney. 4 laps were led by Matt DiBenedetto, and 2 laps went to Joey Logano. All right, so your final incident on the day, which did not cause a caution, and I think rightfully so, we really didn't tear up any cars irreparably. Both cars kept going, and I think it was the right call to not throw the caution with, I believe it was 3 laps to go when Chase Elliott dives inside Joey Logano looking for the lead. Logano had the lead at the time. Chase Elliott looking to take it back and take the win of the race. Dove inside him in, I believe it was 1 and 2. Got the position inside down the backstretch. Then he's still inside in 3 and 4. The car gets loose in 3 and 4. He shoves up the track, and both of them end up in the wall. Logano kind of pancaked against the wall between Elliott and the wall. This took both of them out of contention for the win. In fact, put them as the last 2 cars on the lead lap by the time we got those final couple of laps completed. Taking the win away from both of them. So, the question becomes, if those 2 were taken out of the race for the win, who would win the Supermarket Heroes 500? I keep wanting to call it the Food City 500, which is technically what it was until a couple of days ago when they decided they wanted it to be the Supermarket Heroes 500. So who would win this race in Bristol? And it would be Brad Keselowski, coming by the 22 and the 9 as they got together to take the lead, and he would not look back from that moment. Brad Keselowski picked up that ever-elusive second victory of the season and really solidified himself as one of the maybe championship favorites this season. Got off to a bit of a slow start this season, but I think Brad Keselowski has finally found his footing with crew chief Jeremy Bullins, and I think there might be some real damage to be dealt by that 2-car going down the stretch this season. I think we might have a real championship contender here in Brad Keselowski. And it begs the question, now that they are, now that they've got their footing and that 2-car is really hitting its stride, is he still in the running to go to Hendrick Motorsports next season? I mean, we can talk about that at length, but now that he's back to being successful at Team Penske, I think that was what was fueling a lot of the rumors early this season, was the fact that he really didn't get off to a great start this season at Penske. So everybody starts speculating, okay, he's not happy at Penske, he can go to Hendrick when Jimmie Johnson retires. Well, he's now back to being successful at Penske, so does he still go to Hendrick? Was that ever a possibility in the first place? Who knows? I guess time will tell, but this makes a very strong argument for Brad to stay in that 2-car going forward. We will see. Clint Bowyer snuck through for a second-place finish in this race, his best finish in about a year. So kudos to Clint Bowyer, and it wasn't a fluke either. He was fast there for a lot of the latter portions of the race, finished 6th in the second stage, so he was definitely in contention. I don't know that he necessarily had a race-winning car, but he was definitely up there and definitely in contention for a good finish like that. Jimmie Johnson, this one kind of breaks my heart because he's had wins taken from him so many ways here since we've come back from this this virus break, and this one just felt like a Jimmie Johnson win. And then we had, it was one of those late cautions. I think it was the Harvick incident there on lap 434. Johnson was closing on Kyle Busch for the lead, seemingly had the faster car, and Johnson really did have a really good long-run car today. But then we got a bunch of short stints there at the end of the race, and between that and pit stops, got him a little mired back in the pack, and unfortunately was not able to really challenge for the win at the end of this race, which really sucked because it really felt like this was finally going to be the race that Jimmie Johnson broke that winless streak. It would not come today, but I really feel like that win is just around the corner. Jimmie Johnson has been posting some fantastic runs lately, and I think we're going to see at least one more win out of him before he finally hangs up that helmet at the end of the season. He's running definitely like he should, and at the very least, I think we might see a playoff run out of him. I mean, I'm getting Jeff Gordon 2015 vibes out of this. We'll see what happens here, but I'm really getting some Jeff Gordon vibes out of this. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens here as we get down through the season. Kyle Busch ended up in the 4th position, and Eric Jones rounded out the top 5 to put 2 JGR cars in the top 5. Rest of your top 10, good run for Austin Dillon in 6th. Kurt Busch fought his way back from that big multi-car wreck in the middle portion of the race. Had some pretty heavy damage from that incident. Fought his way back to a 7th place finish. William Byron in 8th, Christopher Bell 9th, and Bubba Wallace with a top 10 finish there in the 10th position. 11th through 20th, Kevin Harvick there in 11th. Another good run for John Hunter Nemechek in the 13th position. Cannot stress this enough. John Hunter Nemechek is one of the top rookies this season in a mid-pack car. I cannot stress that enough, how impressive John Hunter Nemechek has been this season in that 38 car. I've been super impressed by what I've seen out of him, and hopefully that continues here, especially here since we've gotten back from the break. He's been really kind of on a tear lately, and it's been really nice to see. That being said, his teammate Michael McDowell right there behind him in the 14th position, so a good day all around for Front Row Motorsports. Ryan Newman with the top 15 there in 15th. Matt Kenseth landed in 16th. Denny Hamlin led a good portion of this race. In fact, led the most laps in this race, but faded late for a 17th place finish. And Martin Truex Jr. really wasn't a factor most of the day. I was really disappointed with not really seeing Martin Truex a lot of the day. He landed there in the 20th position. 21st through 30th, here we see Joey Logano and Chase Elliott. They landed 21st and 22nd. Chris Buescher there in the 23rd position. Eric Almirola landed in 29th after his accident there late in the race. Final page, 31st through 40th. Matt DiBenedetto, 31st. Corey LaJoie there in the 32nd position. Ricky Stenhouse landed in 34th after his wreck in the middle of the race. Cole Custer, 35th. Tyler Reddick down here in the 36th position, and Alex Bowman down here in 37th. Shotgun on the field would be Ryan Blaney after his tangle with Ty Dillon there around lap 200, ripping the front of the race car off, and that would be the end of the day for Ryan Blaney, who really had a fast car on the day. Led 60 laps, finished second in the first stage. I thought maybe he could be a contender late in this one, but unfortunately it was not meant to be. So that is your results from the Supermarket Heroes 500. So we will head over to the virtual media center, over to the post-race Zoom call for the media, and we will see what your top finishers had to say after this wild day at Bristol.
Why am I the only one in this meeting with a mask on? Gluck, where the hell have you been? You're sunburnt. My God. What'd you say?
Yeah, walk us through that wild finish there, Clint.
Yeah, I needed those guys to, when they decided to wreck each other, I needed them to do that just a little, hold the 2 up just a little bit more. The 2 got into the 6, got into me and tore my car all up. I really needed them to do that just a little bit later. I wasn't going to have any trouble apologizing to Brad for dumping him at the end, but I couldn't catch him.
Good deal.
That's and I'm sticking to it.
Good deal.
Yeah, wild and crazy night for sure. Very strong performance for us. Really proud of the guys, and keeping our chins up through the last 4 weeks. We've had fast cars and really haven't had the results to show for it. So to put together a solid race, start to finish, great pit stops, fast car, be a threat. We needed more long runs, and there was only one long run in the whole race. And we were up there battling for the lead with Kyle. So I wish there were more long runs because our car just didn't have that short run speed in it. But we still salvaged a great day out of it with the Ally Chevy.
Yeah, just a wild day. One of those days that, you look at and you think of as going back and being a part of Bristol lore for a long time to come. And I'm glad we were able to win it. But, geez, so much beating and banging. Oh, my goodness. We've all been cooped up in our houses too long and came to Bristol and took out some aggression, I guess. I don't know. But early on in the race, everybody was hitting each other, and it carried in all the way to the end. And, some people ran me over. I probably ran some people over, and everybody's mad at everybody going into Atlanta next week. But just a really eventful day for us. We started up front on the pole, led a bunch of laps, lost the lead, and then we made some adjustments to the car and got really good in the second stage. Got to the lead, then lost the lead on pit road, and I just could not hit the restarts after that. And I kept falling back. Fell all the way to, I think, 8th or 9th or something like that. And just started to get really frustrated. Started to lose the handle on the car. The track kept changing. And then I was pushing really hard and got a pit road penalty. It was just, wow, I am just digging a hole. And with about 40-some to go, I think we were running 14th or 15th, 48, 49 to go. I don't know. Somebody's probably got a stat on that. And we came in, we put left side tires on, came off of pit road in a spot to compete. And I think we came off pit road maybe 12th and just kept cycling forward. They'd drop the green, we'd go 5 laps, they'd wreck. They'd drop the green and go 5 laps, they'd wreck. Until next thing I knew, I was restarting 4th. Like, wow, this is perfect. And cleared for 3rd on the restart there, the last restart. And I watched Joey and Chase going at it. And next thing I knew, they were wrecking. And here we found ourselves in victory lane. Just really crazy how it all came together. But I'll tell you, I'm super proud to be here and to get a second win in the season. That's, for me, my 5th year with multiple wins in a row, which is really good. And really happy and proud of that, and trying to put ourselves in a position to make a real run at a championship. Hopefully we can do just that. And I feel like we're coming together as a team. This is a new team this year. Same number, same car and all that, but new team. And they're really starting to gel. So I'm very happy for them.
All right, so we'll take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here today. Nobody new locking themselves in today, obviously, but Brad Keselowski does slot himself into the 2-win club now, joining Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin there, with Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, and Alex Bowman also locked in with 1 win apiece. Martin Truex currently the highest driver in on points, with a pretty good gap there back to that 16th position, which is currently Austin Dillon, who currently sits 5 points above the cutoff line, with William Byron there in 17th. Tyler Reddick, Chris Buescher, John Hunter Nemechek all within striking distance as well. Honestly, I've been very impressed with this rookie battle this year because it's not been what I expected, or I think what a lot of us expected. I think a lot of us expected Christopher Bell and Cole Custer to be the two really battling for this Rookie of the Year title, because let's face it, they've probably got the best equipment out of all the rookies this year. And we know they're talented. We've seen what they did in the Xfinity Series the last couple of years. But so far, it's been Tyler Reddick and John Hunter Nemechek that have been the really good rookies this year, which has been refreshing to see. It's nice to see RCR back being competitive. You see Austin Dillon there in 16th, and Tyler Reddick, of course, the highest rookie in 18th. John Hunter Nemechek even sitting in the top 20 right now in a front row motorsports car. I can't stress how impressive that is. And John Hunter Nemechek continues to impress in that car. And there's a possibility, if he keeps running like that, there's a possibility he makes his way into the playoffs, which would be unheard of in an FRM car. So I'm really excited to see what John Hunter Nemechek does here going forward. He's got himself within striking distance of the playoffs. I mean, granted, he's almost 60 points back, so there's a pretty good gap there. Realistically, there's a fairly large gap just there between 17th and 18th between William Byron and Tyler Reddick. But it's not out of the realm of possibility for either one of those rookies to make their way into the playoffs this year. It will be fun to watch going forward. It's been fun to watch so far, and I'm sure that won't change here in the future. But that's a look at your playoff grid tonight on the NASCAR Cup Series Rewind Show, and I believe that will do it for us. Xfinity race tomorrow night. I believe that's tomorrow night. I believe from Bristol. Not 100% sure if we will have a rewind show on that or not. Keep an eye out for it. Could surprise you with one, but I can't guarantee it. And then, of course, NASCAR Heat 4 stream on Wednesday, 6 p.m. As we continue our career through the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series driving for GMS for Racing. Diecast review coming up on Thursday will be Chase Elliott's Roval winner from 2019. And then, of course, rewind shows coming up this weekend for all of the Atlanta action. So keep an eye out for all of that. Got a lot of stuff coming up for you in the next few days, so definitely keep your eye here to RNN. Make sure you got those notifications on. If you're not in the notification squad, why aren't you? You need to be informed on everything new that happens here at RNN, especially as we get closer to being able to be back at the track, giving you live coverage there from the track. It will be sooner than, or I hope it'll be sooner than you think. Hopefully it's not a while, but that's going to do it for this one. So if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. While you're down there, I want you to hit that big thumbs up button for me. If you like the video, it is much appreciated when you do. But at that, this has been the NASCAR Cup Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.